Shalom, Apostle Tahar coming back at you once again, giving all praise to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Rakah Kodash. And I'm going to entitle this video, What Does the Scriptures Say About Edom or the Edomites? And what I did was, I was thinking about doing a video on this subject, and then I happened to come across this video right here. Let me just bring it up. Bear with me for a minute. I gotta find it first, and then in order for me to bring it up. Okay, and this is a Defender for Truth. And the video is Response, Black Hebrew Roots Movement, destroyed by a true Israelite. That's the name of the video, put up by Defender for the Truth. And there's this Edomite, when you first put the video on, talking about the one Westers. That's what they call us, because the groups that Esau is really looking at, putting us under a microscope, is the groups that came out of One West. So this one guy, this Edomite that you see on the screen here, the elder head brother of Baltimore, GMS Baltimore, he calls him Marty McFly. Anyway, he's watched our videos based upon what he said in this video, and he did his research and his studies. And there was a point where Esau didn't pay us no mind, but now they're starting to pay us mind, because they're seeing, they'll listen to the videos, and then they'll go back and they'll go to the scriptures to see if this thing is true. And based upon the way this guy talks, he watched a lot of our videos, and he searched out the scriptures. So he believes that he's an Edomite, because he one of the first scriptures he brings out, and he tells us that we're breaking down the scriptures wrong and not so many words. One of the first scriptures he brings out is, if not the first scripture, is Deuteronomy 23 verse 7. And then he says that we're your brothers, we're your ox. Yes, you are brothers. We know that. We're well aware of that. But there was a point in time where you no longer are our brothers. And I'm going to go into those scriptures. But the true nature of Esau, and this is what it boils down to. Like Jesse Waters said, he said, "So what's your beef?" Well, the beef goes back to Jacob and Esau. That's why you have all these news articles and different news stations of a so-called white cop blowing away a so-called black man. Well, that goes back to that struggle. Esau has a deep-rooted hatred for us. And that goes back to the womb of Rebecca. Because when the two babies were fighting, she noticed that there was a struggle in her womb. And when you read that, go into the Hebrew, that word means to crush each other to death. So there was a death match going on in the womb of Rebecca, the wife of Isaac, which is Yahushai. And what's ironic is, see, when you read about Isaac, the son of Abraham, Isaac impregnated Rebecca, so he put his seed in Rebecca because they had sex, and out of his seed came twins. So the father of the Edomites is Yahushai, and the father of the Israelites is Yahushai. So he brought them to this world. So in essence, Esau could say he's a son of Yahushai, but he's the negative son. So he doesn't get that blessing. The only blessing that he received was the blessing of the sword. And he's still in his blessing to this day. But anyway, let me just go to some of these scriptures. All right, it says Genesis. If you put up, if you type in Edom, Edom occurs 87 times in 82 verses in the King James scriptures. Now, if you go to the Apocrypha and I'm sorry, if you go to the online King James Apocrypha, it would be there many more times. Like in the Apocrypha, it's mentioned, Edom is mentioned in there a handful of times, which I'm going to go into that, and just to show you the nature of these Edomites. And the more we study these scriptures, the more we study Edomites, it's evident that the Edomites are back here today as so-called white people. They're here, and they're beginning to understand that and accept it, but they're trying to look for a way out. You know, they're trying to come with like Marty McFly character. He's trying to look for a way out. You know, he's reminding us that we're brothers, and then he quotes certain scriptures. Yes, we were brothers. We're not brothers any longer. Would you put your brother into slavery? We're going to put your ass into slavery, or the Most High is. Anyway, it says Genesis 25 verse 30. It says, and Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. And the word Edom means red. Adawam. It says Genesis 32 verse 3, and we always go to Genesis 36 verse 8, but you can also use the scripture Genesis 32 verse 3, and Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau, his brother, unto the land of Seir, the country of Edom. And like I said, you're going to come across in the Old and the New Testament the word Edom 87 times in 82 verses. So, you know, I'm not going to read every scripture. I'm just going to go to some of the pertinent scriptures. Okay, you know what I want to do? I want to go to Numbers 24 verse 14. And I'm going to show you the nature of this Edomite. Esau hated you from the very beginning, and we hated him back. So this is Numbers. Numbers. Let me click on that. Numbers 20, verse 14. It says, and Moses sent messengers from Kadesh unto the king of Edom. Thus saith thy brother Israel, thou knowest all the travails that have befallen us. So this is a message, like I'm reading, Moses sending to the king of Edom, and they wanted to walk through their land to ultimately get to the promised land. It says, how our fathers went down into Egypt. The word there is Mizraim. Egypt the term or the word Egypt came about from the Greeks many generations later. So the actual land that they were in captivity under was the people of Mizraim, one of the sons of Ham. So anytime you come across the word Egypt, you know the word there is Mizraim or Martazayim. And we have dwelt in Egypt a long time, and the Egyptians vexed us and our fathers. (16th verse). And when he cried unto the Lord, when we as a people cried unto the Lord, he heard our voice and sent an angel and hath brought us forth out of Egypt. And behold, we are in Kadesh, a city in the utmost of thy border. Let us pass, I pray thee, through the country. We will not pass through the field or through the vineyards, neither will we drink of the water of thy wells. We will go by the king's highway. We will not turn to the right hand nor to the left until we have passed thy borders. So this is Moses appealing and praying to Esau that can they go to the land. So all you Jakes out there, and even you Edomites that say, oh, well, we're brothers, you're supposed to treat us as brothers. Well, this is how Esau treated us. It says, and Edom said unto him, thou shalt not pass by me, lest I come out against thee with swords. And what is Esau's blessing? The sword. And the children of Israel said unto him, we will go by the highway, and if I and my cattle drink of thy water, then I will pay for it. I will only, without doing anything else, go through on my feet. And this is the king of Edom coming back. This is the spirit of Esau. It says, and he said, thou shalt not go through. And Edom came out against him with much people and with a strong hand. So they came out to battle against him. Thus Edom, 21st verse, thus Edom refused to give Israel passes through his border, wherefore Israel turned away from him. And as you read down, you read about the death of Aaron and how the garments were taken off of Aaron and given to his son Eleazar so he could be the head priest. Oh, and by the way, Ezra is a direct line of Aaron. Okay, so this is the first, after us leaving out of Egypt and going into the wilderness and looking, Moses sent us to search out the promised land, and we had to go through Esau or the Edomites because we were going south, because Esau or Mount Seir is south of Jerusalem. So we were going up north, and then we, like I said, Moses asked him humbly, and his response was, "No, you can't go to the land. You can't go to the highway, and if you don't, get to stepping, we're gonna come against you." And they actually did come against him. Like I said, I'm just looking through these scriptures. I didn't set up any particular Okay, this is the account of Saul of 1 Samuel 14, or 1 Samuel 14, verse 47. So Saul took the kingdom over Israel and fought against all his enemies and on every side, against Moab and against the children of Ammon and against Edom, or the Edomites, and against the kings of Zobah and against the Philistines, which are Egyptians, Mizraim, and whithersoever he turned himself, he vexed them. So this would be, when it comes to us and Esau, this would be a history of violence. Now this here is 2 Samuel 8 verse 14, but I might jump up above. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me click on it. I'll start at the 13th verse. 2 Samuel 8 verse 13. It says, "And David gat him a name when he returned from a smiting of the Syrians in the valley of Salt, being 18,000 men." 14th verse. "And he put garrisons in Edom." So now let's look up the word garrison. Find out what a garrison is. Set over, something, place, pillar, perfect, garrison, post, pillar, perfect, duty. So they basically, a garrison is that they set a guard around them. When you come against the enemy, you set your strongest men around them with the sword, and you held them down. So ultimately, what did David do? David, he put them in. He made them slaves. He made his brothers slaves. So all this BS about, oh, we're your brothers. No, not anymore. You're the enemy. You're the number one enemy. Remember Cain and Abel? Cain became the enemy when he rose up and slew his brother Abel. And let me go to Genesis. (27). Okay, I just want to go to the not the 37th verse. Go up a couple of verses. I'll start at the 32nd verse. It says, Genesis 27, verse 32, And Isaac his father said unto him, Who art thou? Now you can read verses up to get more into the story. I just wanted to get right to the point. It says, who, because this is after Isaac had blessed Jacob. Because Jacob had put goat skins on his arms, and Isaac was blind. He was dim of sight. So, and it was Rebekah that cooked the venison, such as Isaac loved, to supplant Isaac, to supplant Esau, because he already got his birthright. He already gave up his birthright. And this is why the Edomites have such hatred to the elite, because we stole their birthright. But it was our birthright anyway, because the Most High just set it up that way. It says, And Isaac his father said unto him, Who art thou? And he said, I am thy son. Forgive me, the phone just rang. Anyway, I'm back into the story. It says, it goes on to say in the 33rd verse, And Isaac trembled very exceedingly and said, Where is he that hath taken venison and brought it me? And I have eaten of all before thou camest, and have blessed him. Yeah, and he shall be blessed. 34th verse. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry. And when it says great and exceeding bitter cry, meaning he got on both knees, his hands was up, and he howled, man. He you know how something tragic happens and you just burst out crying? Well, that's what Esau did. So that's why Esau hates us so much. You talk about, we're not supposed to hate Esau, and you're supposed to, abhor not an Edomite. Well, why don't you ask Esau, how does he feel about us? Esau hates us with a perfect hatred, man. Especially because and that's the beef, Jesse Waters. The beef is Jacob and Esau. You are an Edomite. You descended from your forefathers go back to Esau. And our forefathers go back to Jacob. And these elites know that, man. And when we out there speaking, who really comes and listens to us? Mainly Edomites. Edomites will come up and listen to us and take notice of us more than Jake would. That's why this guy, as a brother called him, an elder called him Marty McFly. He looked like Marty McFly. He was trying to say that we're not supposed to hate him, that we're brothers. But I read the account in Numbers, the 20th chapter. It says, and when Esau heard the words of his father, and he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, bless me, even me also, O my father. And the father said in the 35th verse, and he said, thy brother came with subtlety. Now let's look up this word subtlety. That's the 35th verse. And the word there is marama. It means deceit, treachery. In a sense of deceiving. So marama is H4820, and the root is H7411. Let's see what that says. Ramah, to cast, to throw, shoot. Bow shooters. To beguile, deceive, mislead, deal treacherously. To beguile, deceive, mislead, trick. And that's what Jacob did. And that's how we received the blessings. Because of our fathers. Or our father Jacob. "35th verse, and he said, thy brother came with subtlety and hath taken away thy blessing. And he said, is not he rightly named Jacob? Because what does the word Jacob mean? It means supplanter. For he hath supplanted me these 2 times. You know, he didn't supplant you the first time. Well, yeah, then again he did, because he knew you were faint. He was trying to steal your birthright any goddamn way, and we got it. And that's why you're mad. And that's why our kingdom is going to be an everlasting kingdom. You had some time to rule. You were the Romans, and you're in your kingdom right now. So you can, you know, while you out there in the field getting foots up in your asses sideways and getting whipped and beat down, you can think about the memories when you were back there in the ancient pagan Roman Empire. And when during the time of NATO and the EU, and Trump is going to be out there in the field thinking about when he did that speech, you know, when he did this, when he was inaugurated. And then of all the books you're going to be inaugurated on, you're going to use the scriptures, man. That's not your book, man. And the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, is not your God or gods. So the beef, what's your beef? So what's the beef? The beef is Jacob and Esau, man. That's the beef. The beef goes back to Jacob and Esau. And if you want to go further back, it goes back to Cain and Abel. "36th verse, and he said, is not he rightly named Jacob, which is an omen nomen? For he hath supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright. No, you gave it up because your ass was hungry. You lacked integrity, intestinal fortitude. And behold, now he hath taken away my blessing. And he said, hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? And Isaac answered and said unto him, behold, I have made him thy Lord. Behold, the elder shall what? Serve the younger. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. I have made him thy Lord. And that's why Vocab Malone and Dr. James White, the Edomite, and other scholars say, they'll jump up and say, oh, the Edomites are done away with. No, the Edomites are not done. The Edomites are in power. Because if the Edomites were done away with, who would be in power? Pursuant to the scriptures. Jacob, right? The Israelites. So are you saying that you're the Israelites? Because you damn sure ain't the Israelites. It says, I have made him thy Lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants. And with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? You know, what you want me to do? You know? It goes on to say, and Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. He cried again. He started crying. And Isaac, his father, answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of the heaven. So Esau has that, man. He has the world. And by thy sword shalt thou live. The reason why Esau is in power is because he has the military might. But these nations are saying, let the weak say I am strong. They're doing backdoor deals. And they can do that in your face because they have the same force that you have, these missiles, and shall serve thy brother. It says 40th verse, and by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, the lordship, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Now there was a time where, and you can read the history on that, where Esau broke off from Israel after the time of David. I just want to check something right quick. Bear with me for a minute. What I should have did was looked it up beforehand. I mean, I have it in my red Bible. I don't want to waste too much time trying to look for the exact verse. But when you go into the history, it tells you how Esau, broke that yoke. And then there was a point in time where Esau came into power as the Greeks and as the Romans, and the power that he has now. So that's that. As long as he has that sword, he's got the blessing. So now he's being equalized by these other nations, and plus through the Spirit, the Most High is bringing him down. And that's why he doesn't want to admit that he's an Edomite. But now he's kind of sort of admitting that he's an Edomite, and he's coming with that love shit. Well, what about the love? We're supposed to be brothers. It tells you in Amos 1:11 that we're no longer brothers. And it said 41, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. So anytime Esau railroads you, man, or Edomite cop shoots a Jacob in the back, that's that spirit of Jacob and Esau. That's that struggling in the womb. And see, the Most High took the remembrance of us as being Israelites and them being Esau. That's why Jake out there, you tell him that the white man is Esau, they're going to look at you like you got 3 heads. You tell Jake that they're Israelites, they're going to look at you like you got 3 heads. But as soon as the Most High turns you on, as soon as he opens up your spirit, you're gonna just do one. You want to do one thing. You want to get at these Edomites, and Esau's spirit is tapped into that, man. They don't know why they hate you, but now they're beginning to know why. They're beginning to know that they're Esau. And who taught them? The prophets to the nations. Jeremiah 1 verse 4 on down. Most High set up Jeremiah as a prophet to the nations. He set us as a prophets to the nations. And you so-called white people, you are the Edomites. It says, and Esau said in his heart, that the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. So that's what's in this man's mind, to slay you, to destroy you. 42nd verse, and these words of Esau, her eldest son, were told to Rebekah, and she sent and called Jacob, her youngest son, and said unto him, behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, doeth comfort himself, proposing to kill thee. So that's when Jacob had to flee, because Esau wanted to actually kill Jacob. And they want to kill us now. Like I said, I keep going back to that beef goes back to being in Rebekah's womb, that struggle that was going on. The two opposing forces. And the Most High said, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. Like I said, I'm not going to go through every scripture. I don't have to go through every scripture. Because at the end of the day, when everything's said and done, it's all about Jacob and Esau. Now, why, all the movies that this devil made throughout the years in his rulership, why couldn't he make a movie on Jacob and Esau? Because he'd be lying to you. Because he would have to get a so-called white actor with red hair and a red beard to play Esau. And he would have to make Jake as a so-called black man. So that proves to you that they know who they are. Or let me get this one. Yeah, let me get into this one real quick. Okay, this is 1 Kings 11 verse 14. You know what I'm gonna do? I'll start at the 12th verse. Notwithstanding, in thy days I will not do it for David thy father's sake, but I will rend it out of the hand of thy son. This is the prophet talking to Solomon. So who is Solomon's son? Rehoboam. It said, howbeit I will not rend away all the kingdom, but will give one tribe to thy son for David my. Now, when he said tribe, it's talking about the Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. And for Jerusalem's sake, which I have chosen. And the Lord stirred up an adversary unto Solomon, Hadad the Edomite. He was of the king's seed in Edom. For it came to pass when David was in Edom, and Joab the captain, now they're reflecting back, of the host was gone up to bury the slain after he had smitten every male in Edom. So now why didn't it say every male and female? Because they were popping the Edomite women. That's why you got the tribes looking like, you know, Latin, some of them light skin, lighter than others, some of them caramel skin, dark. You have Israelites out here right now looking like Edomites. And why is that? Because we were popping those Edomite women. We were killing the males off and popping the women. And they were having children with them too. Even though they shouldn't have had children with them, they were having children with them too. And those children were Israelites. It says, for 6 months did Joab remain there with all Israel until he had cut off every male in Edom. Now, did he cut off every male in Edom? No, he cut off every male that was in that region. Because just like you had Israelites that were scattered and they became strangers and decided to come back among their people and was given a plot of land, Esau was doing the same goddamn thing. That Hadad fled, he and certain Edomites. Okay, so he fled. They didn't kill him, and certain Edomites of his father's servants with him to go into Israel, Egypt or Mizraim. Hadad being yet a little child, so they fled for their life, because Jake through Joab, the captain, the captain of the armies of King David under David. He was out on a killing campaign to kill all the his goal was to kill all the Edomites. But the Most High was going to protect them Edomites because Esau had a job to do. Now, as you read down, he befriended the king of the Pharaoh of Egypt, and the Pharaoh gave him his sister's wife to wife, and then he had children. It said he had a son. It says in the 20th verse, and the sister of Ataipanes, which is the wife of the Pharaoh, bear him Genubath, his son. Genubath, an Edomite that looked like an Egyptian, lighter-skinned Egyptian, because them Egyptians, you know, these niggas talking about Kemetic this and we ain't, man, them Egyptians was in love with them Edomites, man. It says Matter of fact, let me click on it. We're reading it, but let me click on it. Let me go to Genu Bath. Genu Bath. Ganabath. It says, son of Hadad, an Edomite of the royal family, by an Egyptian princess, the sister of Tahpenes, the queen of the Pharaoh who governed Egypt in the latter part of the reign of David. And the only time you're going to come across that word, Genopath. Oh, and by the way, you know what? You know what the word means? It means theft. Now, that's an omen. The word means theft, to steal. From the root ganab, which means to steal, steal away, carry away, to steal, to be stolen, to go by a stealth, steal away. So this Hadad's son, through the Egyptian, so-called Egyptian woman, Ganabath, means theft, a thief. Hey, what does this say in Job? Let's go to that. Hey, you got to get into these words, man. You got to get into these words. It said they cried after them as after a thief, right? Job 31st, verse 5. It says in the Hebrew, they cried after them as after a thief. And what is the word there? A ganab. Thief. One of the sons of the first son of Hadad. So that's this devil's nature, man. And that was an omen. They cried after him as after a thief. Okay, now what I want to do here is I want to go to Obadiah. It says here, when they said in the Edomites said in Psalms, or was it 137 and 8, raise it even to the foundation thereof, burn it down. Well, they were the ones that actually burnt it down. And I'm going to show you that. It says Obadiah 1 verse 10, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. And the day that thou stoodest on the other side, and the day that the strangers carried away captives his force. Now that strangers are them Babylonians, Babylonians, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem. Even thou was as one of them. Now check this out. It says here in and you can read the above verses and the below verses. I'm just going right to the key verses. It says, First Ezra 4 verse 45. It says, thou also have vowed to build up the temple which the Edomites burned when Judea was made desolate by the Chaldeans, which were the Babylonians. So when they said raise it even to the foundation thereof, they actually raised it, man. They burnt it down. And they killed us too. So fuck out of here with that. You was born not an Edomite. It goes on to say in the 50th verse, like I said, you can read the between verses. I'm just moving fast here. First Ezra 4 verse 50. And that all the country which they hold should be free without tribute, and that the Edomites should give over the villages of the Jews, which then they held. So they took the land and they didn't want to give the land back. And that's what they're doing right now, man. They're in that land. If you go over there for a visit, they're gonna make you put a yarmulke on your head. You don't gotta go by what I say. All you gotta do is ask the heads of HODC. They went over there. They said, "Look, man, you got to take that garment off before you come up in here. You got to put a yarmulke on your head. You got to dance with them so-called Jews, them Amalekites over there, and you got to bow. You got to bob your head in front of that fucking wall, man. That was a goddamn disgrace. You gonna put a fucking yarmulke on your head, man." Now this is 1 Ezra 8 verse 69. The nation of Israel. So if you think we got to love these Edomites and born not an Edomite. It says the nation of Israel, the princes, the priests, and the Levites have not put away from them the strange people of the land, nor the pollutions of the Gentiles to wit. So what's all this nonsense about? Well, the Most High came for Gentiles too. Cornelius was an Edomite. Cornelius wasn't no Edomite, because Cornelius wouldn't get no. Ain't no angel gonna come down and bless no Edomite, man. And basically give him access to the kingdom. The reason why Cornelius was blessed because Cornelius was and is an Israelite. And he's here among us, most likely. It says, 1 Ezra 8, verse 69, the nation of Israel, the princes, the priests, and the Levites have not put away from them the strange people of the land, nor, and like I said, you can read up above this. I'm just going right to the point. I mean, you can build on this subject, because Esau is always talking about us. Well, we're going to talk about them. They have to know who they are. You're the Edomites. Nor the pollutions of the Gentiles, nor the pollutions of the Gentiles, to wit, of the Canaanites, which are Hamites, Hittites, Perizzites, Jebusites, and Moabites, Egyptians, which are Mizraim, and Edomites. So ain't no Edomites gonna be in the kingdom standing next to us side by side. They're gonna be out in the field, man. Anyway, with that, I'm gonna say shalom, and like I said, if I was to go into a deep subject and really go into it, this would have to be like a series, man. There's so much information about the Edomites, and what they were all about, and what type of spirit that they were in. I couldn't even begin to go into all these scriptures. But I mean, if somebody wants to pick up on it and add to it, because I didn't go as deep, but I kind of touched the surface of Esau, and I really didn't put anything together. But just based upon these scriptures, man. Oh, you know what I'm gonna leave you with? I'm gonna go right to the 18th verse. Ultimately, this is what's gonna happen to these devils, and they know that this is gonna happen. after they served slavery. It says, Obadiah 1 verse 18, in the house of Jacob shall be a fire, in the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau a stubble. Let me go to something. It says, in the house of Jacob for a fire, and the word there is ash, in the house of Joseph a flame. Now the word for flame is H3852, which is lahaba. I'm going to the root. It says flame, blade, flame of flashing point of spear or blade of sword. Like if you ever lived in a house with a fireplace, you would have those pieces of metal, and one would look like a spear, and that's how you break up the wood so the fire can the fire can get in that wood, and the fire becomes stronger. Well, that's what that really means, because it would say ash if it was talking about a fire. It says as for Joseph, he would be like a flame, meaning he would be a lahaba, which is tip of weapon, point, head of spear. So you get the picture in your mind. You got a fire going. You put wood in the fire, and then you got this metal thing that breaks the wood up, so the fire can get up in that wood. So that's what that's talking about. Because Jacob is not going to be an actual fire. In other words, we're going to get rid of him. It goes on to say flame, and it mentions that in Joel 2 verse 5, Job 41 verse 13. It said flaming, i.e. glittering steel. And that flame is going to be from that steel, that glitter, and brightness resembling a flame, the point of a spear or sword. So when we do away with the Edomites, we're going to be in unison. It's going to be one. It's going to be the ultimate unity camp. Because you ain't going to have no Israelite, well, maybe we should save 5 of the Edomites. You ain't going to save a damn Edomite. They're going to be done away with, man. What does it say in Job, the 20th chapter? It said we ain't going to see him no more. And you just have to deal with it, man. It's not my fault. It's not my fault that the Most High made you an Edomite. All right? It says, the 18th verse again, it says, and the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. What is stubble? What is stubble? Stubble in the Hebrew is quash, which is a stubble, chaff. And they give you a handful of scriptures. Oh, I like this scripture. I got to remember that. I remember this scripture. Job 41:28. I got to start using that. This is another ICBM scripture. It said the arrow cannot make him flee. Sling stones are turned with him into stubble. So I want to go to the above verses on that and get more into that. But yeah, this is how this man's going to be. Ultimately, this man's going to be taken out. He's going to be done away with. And that's the thing that he's afraid of. That's why he's trying to remind you you got to love the Edomites, a born out of Edomite. Look, man, you better look. Just keep watching the videos so you can learn until the day the Most High deals with you directly. Anyway, with that, I'm gonna say shalom.